Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a tournament report on a tournament I fished last week at Saguaro Lake with the Midweek Bass Club. We took third place, myself and Steve Tinsley, a co-angler, and he caught a 7.91 pounder for the big fish of the tournament and his personal best. So some of the video is going to be kind of fun to see. It'll be up soon, so give it a shot and take a watch. But first, let's have a look at this sort of a pre-tournament conversation I had with Steve Ferguson, who ended up being the co-angler on the winning team. Anyway, just give it a watch. It's just kind of what happens when you get to know people through a fishing club. You make friends.
So we'll see.
We'll see. I was here Monday. That was the best bite I've had, and I've come up here a couple times. I've been up here a lot, right? Because it's kind of close. Yeah. I've caught like 2 fish sometimes.
Should be a good drop.
It'll be better than that. Yeah, but they're all, I don't know, they're small. Shit. Not always. I caught a big one on Monday, on drop shot, but.
That and funny holes are
yeah.
pounded, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna be racing for them. There's gonna be people stacked up.
Yeah.
Who's your partner?
Steve Tinsley. He's from Prescott.
Okay.
He's a good fisherman. He caught 2 nice ones. So we had a good day Monday, right? And I hate that, right?
Yeah.
At least it wasn't yesterday. But I did catch a good one on a drop shot, but it was random, But that's how big ones will bite. When they want to bite, they'll bite, right? And then you get a big one, and you're like, oh.
And here, your next cast.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we get started and show some fish catching here, I want to talk a little bit about the Midweek Bass Club. We fish middle of the week on Wednesdays, and it's a pro-am circuit, meaning you draw a partner, you draw a co-angler, but for that day you fish together as a team. So this is fun, it's fantastic, it's a great way to meet people, and it's a great way for anglers to learn if you want to learn by being a co-angler. So if you're able to get away during the middle of the week, give our club a shot. So Steve and I took third place. We had 3 bites all day, 3 bites, but it was a 3-fish tournament, and so it played perfectly into my strategy of just going for big fish. So let's watch a couple fish catches here. And notice, by the way, on the second fish that we caught and the first one Steve caught, it was a situation where we worked together as a team. So give it a watch.
Here's one. Throw right back in there. It's a nice fish, but this is a nice. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. There we go. Yeah. There we go. It's 2.5. You just down there a ways too. All right. Nice. It's
a great start.
Yes, it is. I'll take it. Right. And it tells me they're biting. 310.
310.
Yep.
Oh shoot. Better than I thought he was.
Yeah, that's what it said. So see, right in there, the 2 little pockets, that's where I caught the 4-pounder, and this is where I just caught the 3. So I'm excited because we finally just caught ourselves a decent fish right away in the morning, a 3-pounder. My plan is working perfectly so far. In other words, I felt this spot was going to produce a fish for us. I can't believe it, and it did. So I got a worm with a big chartreuse streak in it, right? And I was Never caught one on it until now, right? But I like chartreuse first thing in the morning. And I'm thinking, oh man, should I do the chartreuse or not, you know? And I know you're gonna throw dark, black, so I decided to keep it on, and I'm like, hey, boom. 49. It's nice and steep. Oh, jeez, was that a fish? No. Somebody might have had the tail. I'm not sure. Just pressure. We call them marshmallow rocks.
Barely grab your bait.
Oh, well, it's a big worm, right? And it just felt heavy, and I thought, well, that's going to be a fish. You know what I mean? Like every other time. But no, I've already got teeth marks on it, so I could have checked for teeth marks on the tail, but I've already got a fish, so. So right in there, Steve, like right between you and that next little notch is where he bit, I think, was a fish, okay? And they might go for, you know, might go for your bait, right? So now what's going to happen here, it's going to get, see, this is a transition, huh?
There's a little bump.
Was there? Good. Oh, there you go. There you go. Good one? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Good one.
Oh. Should I get the net here? He's wild. See? Got him, baby. I love it. Oh, I'm not going to stab. Oh. Oh. Nice. Oh, that's another 3, right? I think. We'll find out.
Joe, this is fun.
We're on a good start here. Get it?
Yep.
318.
18, okay. I'll take it.
Okay, so let's take a look at the baits we were using. First of all, when I'm after big fish at Saguaro Lake and I'm fishing walls and bluffs, as you could see I was doing, I like to fish big worms, especially this time of year. So the first fish I caught came off of this particular worm. It's a KVD brand. It's an 8-inch magnum worm, and it happens to be one that's got some chartreuse in it. I started throwing that chartreuse colored one first thing in the morning because, you know, the chartreuse shows up a little bit better under low light conditions. Initially, I wasn't sure if I should be throwing a chartreuse, but not only did I catch the first fish only a few minutes into the tournament, if you noticed, I had the fish bite my bait, and he just didn't probably have the bait all the way when I tried to reel him in, if you will, set the hook and reel him in. But Steve threw back in there with his bait, and he caught it, which I'm going to show you what he was using. Anyway, when I'm throwing these big worms, they're 8-inch, they're very fat, and I like that because they move a lot of water. I'm just throwing them on a small little jig head, okay? It happens to be a 1/4 ounce jig head, and it's got this really great big hook. I like that because if we're fishing for these bigger fish, and that's what our strategy was, that you're not in brush, you're not even hardly in rock, you're just throwing it against the bluffs and letting it fall. So having this big, wide open hook can really catch them. So let me just set one up here for you. There's a couple brands too. Not only do I like the KVD big 8-inch worms, I also like big bite baits. Okay, it's kind of hard to see that, but and that's what this one is. It's a big bite. It's another 8-inch magnum worm. I like this color. It's tilapia. It's kind of a weird looking dark color with blue fleck in it. Love that color. I've caught a lot of really good fish on it. Another color I've done well is sort of this purple and brown worm from Big Bite. Couple options, and then this one here is great. It's green, blue, and brown. You know, the water at Saguaro was kind of dark, and so having the darker baits I think helped. Anyway, I rigged this up pretty simply, just a darter head sticking it in there. I don't have my glasses on, so let's see how I do. And I'm gonna rig it up just like that. Now these hooks have a strange bend in them, frankly. So when I get done, you can see how that hook stands out, right? And I really think that's pretty amazing and awesome for when I'm fishing this type of fish. So that's what I was doing in the tournament. I caught one fish. Steve caught 2. Steve was using a Neko-rigged Senko. So here it is. Of course, the Neko-rigged, there's a weight down in this end down here, and he hooks it up with a band. I have it hooked up slightly differently, but nonetheless, that's how he hooked it up. Another thing to note, by the way, is this is a 6-inch Yamamoto Senko. He was using a 7-inch, which was a much bigger and much fatter. And I think that was one of the things that I really have to give Steve credit for. On Monday, we pre-fished, and he caught 8 fish, and I caught 3. He was drop shotting a little curly tail worm, and he caught 6 fish doing that, but they were all small. Okay, and I was thinking, you know, we should upsize our baits, because I think this time of year in the summer, bigger baits will work. And I said, certainly when we get to the walls and we practice on the walls, I wanted him to, you know, suggested to him that he should try a bigger bait. Well, he whips out a 7-inch Senko, hooks it up Neko style, and in practice he catches 2 3.5 pounders back to back. So he learns fast. I give him a lot of credit for that. And in the tournament, he catches a good 3-pounder, and you're going to see him catch the big fish of the tournament and his personal best. So, you know, give it a watch. It's pretty awesome. In both cases, we're just throwing these baits up as tight to the bluffs as we can, and we're letting them sink, and that's about it. I think for me, using a spinning rod is what I have here. It just helps. Now, in the past, days gone by, I would pitch with a bait caster. And the reason I would do that, because if I was throwing larger baits, because I didn't have a spinning rod that could really handle a bait like this. I mean, this bait probably weighs 3/4 of an ounce total. Half ounce, if not a little bit better, 3/4 of an ounce. And if I have a 3/8 ounce head on it, it just weighs that much more. And you need a spinning rod, I think, that's powerful enough, and that's what this is. This is the Saguaro Legend Tournament. It's the Power Finesse spinning rod. It's 7'3". It's a medium power with an extra fast tip. The medium power is what's used to cast these heavier baits. Now, this medium power, this particular rod, I think the medium power is certainly a bit more than medium, in my humble opinion, because I can throw these pretty darn heavy baits and with ease, right? And when I get a big fish on, and I have caught some really big fish with this 6.5 pounder, 7.5 pounder, throwing these big worms between last year and this year, this rod is really incredible. With a fast tip, it just allows me to, you know, when I detect that fish, that tip is so fast that I can get the hook set in, and I'm running off and running. So I love that. I'm happy to be using the Abu Garcia Revo Rocket. It's a 991 or 90-to-1 retrieve, and that's really important when you're fishing against the bluffs. And when the fish bites your bait, they always swim to deep water. So when you feel the fish on there and you start reeling, I just want to really take up line fast. So I really, really like these high-speed reels. I'm using 15-pound braid with a 10-pound leader is what I was using. So that was a really great combination for me when fishing the walls. Steve used a couple different ones. He used both a bait caster and a spinning rod, but there again, you know, I suggest he try a spinning rod, and he did, and I think he caught his good fish on the spinning rod. So I really appreciate Steve and his ability to learn fast and catch big fish nonetheless, right? So anyway, there's the rundown of the baits I used. Watch this little clip here about how we work together as a team, and that's what happens when, you know, if you're doing things right in a club where you're drawn for partners. If you're working together as a team, you can do better, and you'll see that happening. So I hope that's interesting. Good.
I think I was barely bumping rocks. I just felt a little tiny bump and thought I better set the hook on it.
Want me to back you up a little bit to cast back in now?
Yeah, if you can back up 5 feet.
Okay, so it was a bite, you know? Oh, another thing I should tell you, which I haven't been doing either. When you're down there and you're reeling it back, stop it halfway back.
Okay.
I've had a number of fish, I've been bit, like speed reeling and I get a bite, right? Never caught it. I'm thinking, oh, it's a bluegill. Well, then one got real aggressive and bit me, and it was a catfish. Okay? But same thing, I was reeling it fast. So
I've had a few people tell me if you're catching catfish, you're throwing the right bait.
really,
Yeah, the bass are going to eat the same thing.
we gotta.
Oh, there's fish.
Got one? Right. Good one. That's
Feels decent.
oh, yeah.
I think he's huge, but he's decent.
He's bigger than you think. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And those fish. Have you seen it yet? Oh yeah, it is. Wait. I'm not gonna stab it. I can't see it. Oh.
That could be a new PB for me. If this is over 7, which I think it is. Oh, sorry. I'm a little excited right now.
Dude.
Dude,
Dude.
we're getting a
Bro.
chat today, Joe.
I know we are.
I'm glad you backed up in the control.
I know, right?
I want to talk a little bit more about pre-fishing. I had gone up there a number of times and I didn't do very well. Sometimes I caught only 2 fish. Sometimes I caught a big one. I caught a 7.5 one day, but I had 2 little ones or 3 little ones to go with it. And then one day I actually caught almost a 5-pounder, and it was like, okay, the big fish were on the walls. And then the best day I had before the tournament was I had 3 fish that weighed 10.5 pounds. I caught a 4-pounder, a 3.5, and a 2.5, basically. And you know, that was, to me, that was good fishing. Even though other times I caught big fish, but I caught a 7-pounder with 1-pounder. So it was kind of mixed up. And I learned that when I was catching the little fish, I was doing it with drop shot. And when I was catching the better bites on the walls, let's say, I was using these big baits. I actually went out fishing one evening at Saguaro and had one bite out on the flats, and it was on a worm like this, but it had a 1/2 ounce. I was throwing deeper on structure, and I had a 1/2 ounce jig head, and I caught a 5.5 pounder. So I put a few things together. Some things I already knew, that walls hold big fish, and they'll eat the big worms. And I knew that I wasn't going to get very many bites. So in this particular situation, we catch our first 2 fish in the first 15 minutes of the tournament, which was the best start I ever had. And these 2 3-pounders gave us a lot of confidence to keep fishing the walls, which you know, ended up being a good strategy for the big fish. We had clearly thought we were going to catch some other decent fish to replace the 3-pounders, but that never happened. So we had 3 bites, and that's it. I caught 1 fish. Steve caught 2. I did have the fish bite me, and then Steve threw in and caught it with his Neko-rigged on. So that was kind of cool. It's a team effort. Love fishing with Steve. Enjoyed every minute of it. So, and I hope you enjoy this video. Anyway, please like and subscribe. Liking is really important, and subscribing is also important. I'm almost to the point where I'll be able to monetize. I got 2 more 100 subscribers to go, so let's get those subscribe buttons going, everybody. And I'll keep doing these kinds of videos that will help everybody catch more fish in these Arizona lakes. Of course, I also do rod reviews. This was sort of a mini review, if you will, but I do in-depth review on rods. I'm going to do some on reels, and I got a bunch of different things going on. I got a lot of video ready to edit, and that's where all the work is, in quality editing. So have a great day and be free out there. We're Americans. We're meant to be free.